I chose to create a new library checkout system for my innovation project. My new library checkout system helps organize and streamline the way my learners check in and out books in my classroom. When I first started thinking of my project, I connected with colleagues at my school to understand what might be something that I could help improve. One idea that was talked about was a library checkout system. To start my project, I first observed my and others' current processes to see what was working and what could be improved upon. My and some other teachers' previous process was a paper and pencil checkout system. This was okay, but often learners forgot to fill it out completely or wouldn't put the date they checked books back in. I also wouldn't know without looking through the whole checkout sheet what books had been checked out for too long. I knew I could create a better system that helped organize this process more efficiently. I chose to use Google Forms to create my checkout system. I found through observations of my learners that they were well versed in Google Forms and could understand it without much extra teaching. I created the Google form in a way that would go to the correct section, whether a student selected checking in books or checking out books. I then created a QR code that learners could scan to quickly take them to the Google form. I chose this method so any learner who was in my classroom could check out books without needing to be part of one of my classes. Finally, I used Google Sheets to organize the information from the Google form. I did research on conditional formatting and grouping to organize the information. I grouped the Google form results by the phrase checking in books or checking out books. This way myself and other teachers using the system could quickly see what books were checked in or out. Then I used conditional formatting to highlight the date checked out red if the date is over a month old. This will allow myself and other teachers to see at a quick glance which books are overdue and which learners we need to talk to about returning books. I also used conditional formatting to highlight the words checking in or checking out green or orange as another way to quickly see which books were which. Throughout the process of this project, I needed to be flexible and resilient. There were several times I tried something and it didn't work. One example was my Google form was not submitting unless all the questions were answered. I did not need both the checking in and out questions to be answered, so I had to find a way to fix this. Another example was the QR code I created at home did not end up working on my school's network. I figured this out after a student tried scanning it, and then I created a new QR code using Canva instead of the website I had previously used. After creating and implementing this new system in my classroom, I observed how it was working for a couple days to make any changes as needed. I then shared the QR code with my team teacher and had her implement it in her classroom as well. My next step was to share the system with the other 5th grade teachers at my school. I shared the QR code and Google form and will get feedback from these teachers soon. This feedback will help me to update the system if needed with changes they may suggest. The improvements that I have seen already with this system is that learners are filling in all the information needed so that I know better which books from my library are checked in or out and what dates they were checked in and out. I was also able to see quickly which books may be overdue by looking at my organized Google Sheet. This was an improvement from reading through my entire paper checkout system. My learners have enjoyed using this system so far, and I am seeing that it will continue to work as a daily process in my classroom.